The best cold calling strategy in 2026. Is cold calling still worth doing in 2026? Well, your LinkedIn inbox is a graveyard of AI-generated slop. Your emails has more filter than airport security. Even your mom can't get through. There's one channel left where you can make a human listen to you for 60 uninterrupted seconds. The cold call. And no, it's not that, but your approach may be. You're opening with, "How are you today?" and they hang up before you finish the sentence. Your opener sounds identical to the 3 robotic pitches they already took that morning. Then, the second they say "we're good," you either cave or oversell. And when you do get traction, your follow-up is so weak the deal dies in the voicemail graveyard. In this video, I'm gonna run you through how to get the right list of people to call to start with, how to have an opener that gets them to listen instead of hanging up, how to pitch to them so they actually engage back with you and disclose their problems, how to dig deeper so that you can get to a close more naturally, how to deal with objections once they stand in the way, how to close without frictions, and finally, the multi-channel strategy that will make the phone even more effective. My name is Giulio Segantini. I've made over 120,000 cold calls, trained over 1,500 reps, and generated 1.5 million in commissions because I stopped treating the phone like a liability and I started treating it like a psychological instrument. Let's get into it. Most reps fail before they even dial. Not because their pitch is bad or because cold calling doesn't work, because they're calling a list of 5,000 generic leads bought for $5 from a data provider that hasn't updated since 2021. That no longer works in 2026. Volume is a commodity. Precision is your edge. You do not need 5,000 names. You need 127 specific individuals who actually have the problem you solve, who have the budget to fix it, and who answer their phones. That starts with your list. Before you dial a single number, you need to answer 3 questions. Who is suffering from the exact problem I solve right now? Who in the organization actually makes the decision? And what is the direct mobile? Not the company switchboard, not the PA who screens everything. That's where most reps get killed by the gatekeeper. They call the main line, get transferred twice, and end up leaving a voicemail on a desk phone that hasn't been checked since Tuesday. Stop that. Use a tool like Full and Rich to pull direct mobile numbers for your decision makers. When I started using this with my clients, they doubled the connect rate from 5 to 10, 15% because they're now dialing phones that are physically in someone's pocket, not sitting on a desk in an open plan office. One of my clients, a 100 million per year cybersecurity firm, was running 40 calls a day off a generic scrape list and booking maybe 2 meetings a week. We rebuilt the list from scratch, tighter ICP, direct mobiles, full and rich, and verify the data. Same call volume, 6 meetings a week. The list did most of the work before they said a word. Precision beats volume every time. Build the right list and everything else gets easier. Now, you've got the right number, you're dialing, they pick up. You have exactly 10 seconds. 10 seconds to not sound like every other salesperson who already called them that morning before the finger starts sliding towards the rep button. And most sales rep open with a fakely arrogant, confident pitch. "Hi, my name is X. I'm calling from Y. We help companies like yours do Z." And the prospect has already tuned out thinking about the lunch when you said "we help." Here's why. There's a psychological principle called reactance theory. When a human feels pressured, when they sense they're being sold to, they push back automatically. The brain registers, someone is trying to take something from me. I'm gonna resist because my freedom depends on it. The fastest way to kill reactance is to give them an out immediately, because that's the most psychologically sound strategy. Here's the exact example. "Hi John, my name is Giulio. We don't know each other. I'll take 27 seconds to tell you why I called. If it's not relevant, I'll get lost. Is that fair?" That's it. Delivered calmly, confidently, no apology in the voice. 70 to 80% of the time, they'll say, "Sure, fair enough." It works for 3 reasons. First, you don't sound like a rep. You sound like someone who respects their time and your own. Second, you've offered a fair deal. 27 seconds for a clear exit if it's not relevant. That's not a pitch, it's a conversation starter. And third, is that fair? Is the first micro agreement of the call. Once they say yes, that matters psychologically. It's the first yes that makes the second easier. Now that you've got their attention, it's time to keep it. They gave you 27 seconds. Do not waste it talking about your all-in-one AI-powered platform. Nobody cares, not yet. There's a well-documented principle in behavioral economics called prospect theory. Humans are twice as motivated to move away from pain as they are to move towards gain. Tell someone they could improve pipeline by 20%, they not. Tell them they're losing 20% of their pipeline because their reps can't open a call, they're now leaning forward. Features make prospects yawn. Benefits grab attention. Pain actually motivates them. So in those 27 seconds, your only job is to describe 1 or 2 specific problems in your ideal customer profile world. Name the consequence and then ask a question that forces them to look at their own situation. Here's how it sounds in practice. This is one of the scripts I built for one of my clients that sells an AI roleplay. We speak to 500 to 600 VPs of sales in tech companies every quarter. Even the best performing teams share one blind spot. The top 20% are excellent at creating new opportunities, but what makes them great isn't a playbook, it's how they handle conversations. The rest of the team works just as hard but can't quite close the gap. Is that somewhat relevant in your world, or have you got the magic formula for this already? Now, notice what's happening here. You open with social proof. You've spoken to hundreds of people exactly like them. That signals you understand their world. You're not guessing. Then you name a specific problem they're already feeling. And then you pull away. Have you got the magic formula for it already? Which makes it easy for them to engage without feeling trapped. When I run this framework for my client, their response literally doubled. They start having 2 times as many conversations just off a 27-second pitch. Because the prospect feels understood before they've actually even said a word about their world. Before I get into the next section, if you want this entire cold calling system built within your sales process, click the first link in the description. But that's it, back to the video. So they've admitted the problem. They said, yeah, our reps actually struggle with conversations. Or, yeah, we got a few people that are lagging behind. Most reps hear that and think, boom, green light. They jump straight to the demo. Don't do that. A problem named is not a problem felt. The prospect just said something factually true, like acknowledging the weather. They haven't connected it to the meetings that are missed, the revenue that's not gonna be there, the Monday morning pipeline review, where the numbers made no sense. There is one question, 6 words long, that changes the entire trajectory of the call, and I'll give it to you in a moment. But first, let's understand why it works. There's a cognitive principle called availability bias. When a human being retrieves a specific memory, the emotional weight of that memory becomes real and present, not abstract. The problem stops being a statistic and starts becoming something real they actually live through. Your job is to trigger that memory. And the 6-word question that does it is this: can you give me an example? When you ask that, the prospect stops thinking in general terms and starts telling you a specific story. And the moment someone tells you a story, they own the problem. It is no longer your observation, it's their experience. Listen to how fast this changes the energy. Prospect says, yeah, our reps struggle with conversations. You say, can you give me an example? Prospect says, well, last Monday I was doing call reviews and only 1 in 5 calls was genuinely good. The rest were awkward at best. Now the pain is real. They're not thinking about missed revenue as a concept. They are remembering that specific Monday, the awkward silences, the rep who stumbled, the call they had to stop listening to. When a prospect tells a story like that, they're not just volunteering the problem in details, they're also selling to themselves that they need a solution. Now, reality check. Not every prospect will lean in like that. Most will hit you with the standard brush-offs or objection. Send me an email. We're good, thanks. We already have something in place. And what do most reps do at that point? They push back, over-explain, get defensive, and they become just a number, one of the many calls which end up in an hour. From now on, you will use the PACE framework. PACE. P for pause, A for acknowledge, C for consent, E for engage. That's how it runs in real time. Prospect says, we're good with our current provider. First, you pause. 2 seconds of silence. This breaks the salesperson pattern. The prospect is expecting pushback. When it doesn't come, they relax. That 2-second pause does more work than most reps do in 60 seconds. Then you acknowledge, not agree, acknowledge. And you do so with a label. It sounds like you've already been taking care of this. It seems like you've looked into this in the past. No argument, no but. The prospect exhales. The resistance level drops. Then you ask for consent. Do you mind if I ask a question about that? They almost always say yes, because you've now given them control twice in 30 seconds and they are not in fight mode anymore. And then you engage their brain. You ask a question that makes them think about their own objection. When you say you're good, does that mean if a better option were available, you wouldn't even want to take a look? Now they're not facing a salesperson. They're facing a question they have to answer honestly. Pause, acknowledge, consent, engage. Run it every time you hit resistance and watch how fast the energy shifts. You found the pain, you've handled the resistance, you've had a real conversation. Now the close. This is where most reps throw it all away. They've done it all right. They asked for permission, they got a pitch, they got them to acknowledge a problem, they digged into those problems, they handled objection, and now they go, so, would you be interested in a demo next week? And the prospect immediately re-enters defensive mode, because now it feels like a sales call again. Here's what you do instead. First, you recap. Before you ask for anything, show them you actually listen. Reflect the problems back in their own words. Not a summary you wrote in advance, their words from the conversation you just had. So based on what you told me, problem 1 is creating consequence, and the knock-on effect impact dimension is this. Does that sound right? They confirm, and then you ask, do you mind if I ask a really direct question? They say yes, they feel brave. You say, have you accepted that's the way things are, or are you still looking for solutions? Pause, let them answer. They will almost always say, no, of course not. That's why I'm talking to you. That's the moment. They just told you out loud in their own words that they want help. You did not sell them anything. They arrived there themselves. Now, and only now, do you introduce your offer. Not the full pitch, just enough. If I could show you how we've helped teams in exactly the situation to fix problem 1 and consequence, would it be worth a longer conversation? Now, they'll be, yeah, that makes sense. And then you book the meeting. You've built agreement softly but steadily throughout the call. And that's how you get to the final yes. One final layer, because it's 2026 and the phone is the main weapon, but not the only one. Multi-channel outreach. The data on this is clear. Running a coordinated multi-channel sequence increases the conversion rates of a single channel by up to 287%. You want that number. And here's exactly how that sequence runs. You call. If they pick up, you run everything we just walked you through. If they don't, you leave a voicemail, 15 seconds max. Hey John, no need to return this call. I'm about to send you an email with the subject line voicemail and a LinkedIn connection request. My name is Giulio Segantini from Underdog Sales. I'll call you tomorrow. Then you send the email, subject line voicemail. You focus on problem, not a pitch, not a feature list. 1 or 2 sentences about a specific problem they might be facing and a question to engage them. Then the blank connection request. A message in there will read like a pitch. A blank request reads like a PR. In 1 minute, you've made 4 different touch points. Some people will love emails, some check LinkedIn first, some actually listen or read voicemails. You are meeting the prospects where they want to be met. Over 6 weeks, run approximately 20 touch points. Mix in video messages, SMS, additional calls, always problem-centric, never feature first. 20 touch points over 6 weeks, executed with precision. Your pipeline will never look like the pipeline since when you started this video. Now you put together the process. However, the process is going to be pretty useless if you can't bring yourself to even pick up the phone to start with. And this is why this video is going to show you how to get your brain to do hard things for you.